So hi, and in this video I want to take you through levels, vibrance and hue and saturation. So just want to take you through some of the key steps of what I do when I open an image. So again, I've got one of my images from a few years ago. So the first thing I need to do here is I would like to rotate it. Okay, so we go to image rotation and 90 degrees clockwise. Like so, and remember the shortcut command minus, we zoom out, okay, and then we've got the whole image. Now if we go over to this side, you've got your learn, you've got your libraries, and most importantly you've got your adjustments. And as you roll over these, you'll see that they've got different, each of these icons symbolises a different action that you can do. So we're going to look at levels, and that's this symbol here, which is like a little histogram. Okay, so the levels, basically you've got different plots, so these are like little pointers. So this here indicates the shadow areas. So if I go beyond the histogram where it starts, the shadows start to get very black and very solid, which is maybe what you're looking for. I tend to plot mine at the edge, and then the same over here affects the highlights. So if I could start to go beyond the mark here at the start of the histogram, the whites and the highlights get really blown out. So I tend to always plot them at the edge, and that means I've still got some really lovely skin tone. One thing you must be careful with is if you go beyond, and then if we go to window and then we'll click on info, and when I roll this over, it's picking up, it's reading the pixels, and you can see here at the top over here, when you look at red, so I'll roll it over, it's saying 255. So the R stands for red, the G stands for green, and the B is for blue. And what it's saying is basically there's no pixels, it's far too bright, so when you print your picture it will be blown out, so it won't look good. So if we go back to the levels like so, you can see it's recorded that. So what we're going to do, if you've done an action you don't like, you can just bin it. So I've just literally clicked on it with the hand, dragged it and put it into the bin, and now I'm going to rectify this and put the mark here. So I've still got that tone, I've got the skin detail there and the highlights and the subtleties in the tone. If I take it this way, it's obviously making the mid-ground and the mid-tones much darker, so you sort of want it roughly in the middle, somewhere like so. Okay, so that's the first thing I would recommend. Now if we scroll along here and then we get to this sort of triangle, and it's almost, if you look at that and think of V for vibrance, we can click on this. Now let's have a look at what this does. So if we start to increase the vibrance, okay, and then we can click on this to see without and with, without and with. Now if we take that, I'm just going to click and just put that at 0, and just a quick way, just do it like that. Now if I take that up to 100, without, with saturation. So the vibrance is a much more subtle way of enhancing the colours and making them sort of pop if you want to, so it makes them look more striking. But what the vibrance does is it will affect the areas which are less saturated and make those areas more vibrant. So it will still make these areas like this lovely rich purple vibrant and the green, but it really emphasizes the orange in the background. But if you do it through saturation, you've seen the results, it gets really garish and it's just too much. And look, on a blusher on her face, it's overkill. So vibrance is a good way of just enhancing those colours which are slightly kind of flatter, and just makes those colours a bit stronger and a bit more punchy, and overall creates a bit more balance to your picture. So we've got your levels here, and you've got your vibrance. With each of these, this is an action you've added on top of your background, and your background hasn't been affected as yet. So you can just drag and drop these, turn these off as you wish. You can see the purple standing out a little bit more, and so is the orange there. Now the next is the Hue and Saturation panel, and that's this one here. And then you can click on here. And then you can change the hue of the whole picture, and you get these really weird effects, which if you're looking for that, that's great, but a bit bizarre. I think a little bit too kind of fake. And then you've got the same with the saturation, or you can reduce the saturation like so, and you can take it back to 0. But what if you just want to change one particular colour, and you decide, actually, I just want to change the yellow? This is how you do it. So rather than changing everything, and you've got no control, you can then just start to select one colour, and that's here. You go to this drop down, so you've got master, which is selecting all the colours. If we go to yellow, it's picking up the orange along with the yellow, because there's obviously quite a bit of yellow there, but it's not affecting the green and the purple. And equally, we could decide, okay, let's change the green jacket. There we go. So we turned it purple. And then if we want to change, let's see, magenta, yeah. We've changed it more to a green skirt. So it's a simple way just to pick one particular colour and make those changes. So, and again, you can make those changes, and you can turn it on and off. And if you're happy with it, you can keep it as it is, or if you don't like what you've done, you can just drop it in the bin. So this is the easiest way to make those adjustments. So quick recap. So you've got brightness and contrast here. Levels, I would suggest being the first thing that you do whenever you open an image. Curves, that takes a little bit of time getting used to, but we will go into that as well. Exposure, again, you've been doing that through Camera Raw, so maybe if you're confident using Camera Raw, carry on with that. Vibrance here, vibrance and saturation, and you've got hue and saturation here. So that's a simple way of making one selective colour adjustment, and then you can also change the levels and give it a little bit more punch. So yeah, so this is one of the key pointers to start with whenever you're opening a picture. Okay, so I want you just to experiment and get confident applying these adjustments to your images, and I want to see the before and afters so we can see how you've made those changes. All right, so thank you and good luck.